Hello children, today I will read The Great Balloon Chase from The Adventures of Paddington. Dear Aunt Lucy, Mr. Brown often says I have my head in the clouds. Well, today I really did. And oh, what an adventure it was! It was a beautiful sunny day and Jonathan had just arrived at 32 Windsor Gardens with something very exciting. Dad got me a dinosaur balloon, he said. It's really cool. He pulled on the string and the dinosaur let out an almighty roar. May I have a go? Asked Paddington. Sure, just don't let. But before Jonathan could finish speaking, Paddington had let go of the string by mistake. My balloon! Cried Jonathan as his dinosaur balloon floated away. I'm very sorry, Jonathan, said Paddington. Perhaps it will come back? But it didn't. The next day, Paddington found Jonathan sitting in his treehouse looking glum. Not even a marmalade sandwich could cheer him up. I'm sorry, Jonathan. I should have been more careful, Paddington sighed. It's okay, Paddington, said Jonathan. I know it was an accident. It's just, it was a really cool balloon. Paddington was determined to make things right. In his room, he found his patched up piggy bank. Rattle, rattle. I'm sorry, Mr. Piggy. I know I promised I wouldn't do this again, but this is an emergency. Smash, clink. Paddington rushed to the park. One dinosaur balloon, please, he said. Certainly, the man replied, handing a big bunch of balloons to Paddington. Hold these for a moment. I will just get your change. Suddenly, Paddington felt his paws lift off the ground. Air whooshed through his fur as he looked down at the park below. Oh! Paddington floated down a busy street. A double-decker bus was headed straight towards him. He was going to crash. Luckily, a big gust of wind blew Paddington up and out of harm's way. He bumped across the roof. Phew, that was close. Paddington sailed and swooped and swung between rooftops and chimneys as the balloons floated on and on. Whoa! Meanwhile, Mr. Brown was giving a very important speech at work. If our business can double its business, then that business will mean even more business, Mr. Brown said. As he finished, everyone clapped loudly. Well, I certainly know my business, he said, beaming. It was probably a good thing that Mr. Brown didn't realize that everyone had actually clapped because a friendly little bear had just floated past the window. Paddington, said Paddington, pleased to see a friend at last. I'm in rather a spot of bother. Could you please go and get some help? Paddington flew off with a squawk. What a clever bird, thought Paddington. He'll know what to do. But when Paddington returned, Paddington let out a sigh. It was clear the bird didn't know what to do after all. Paddington, that's not help, he cried. That's an ice cream. Paddington flew away. Wait, I didn't say I didn't want the ice cream, cried Paddington. Paddington clung tightly to the strings of the balloons as they took him high above all the sights of London. He flew over Tower Bridge, round Nelson's Column, and even past Big Ben as it chimed 4 o'clock. Paddington's entire body shook as the bell rang out 4 times. Boing, 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 boing. Paddington floated above the clouds. He felt very peaceful so far away from London's busy streets. He began to enjoy his little adventure. Just then, a familiar roar interrupted the quiet. Jonathan's balloon, he cried. He wriggled and jiggled said, grabbing the string. Now all he needed to do was work out how to get back down. Before he had time to think, he heard a loud pop. Paddington looked up. Two birds pecked at the balloons above his head. He sank a little. Pop! "Excuse me," said Paddington politely. "I'd really rather you didn't." Pop! They burst another balloon and another, then one more. Paddington dropped still further. The naughty birds left him no choice. Paddington fixed his gaze on the crowd and gave them a hard stare. They stopped popping all the balloons at once. With a final squawk, they flew away. The birds had given Paddington an idea. He left the balloons at all the places he had floated past earlier. Big Ben, Nelson's column, on lampposts and TV aerials. Paddington slowly floated back home. His feet touched the ground at the exact moment that he had just one very important balloon left. "Paddington!" cried Jonathan, rushing outside to greet him. "My balloon! How did you get it back?" "Oh, it was a breeze," Paddington chuckled, returning the balloon to Jonathan. "Now make sure you don't let go." But Jonathan forgot to hold on tight, and the dinosaur balloon sailed away into the sky once more. This time the two friends looked at each other and laughed and laughed and laughed. Mr. Brown was right when he said balloons always float away. But that's okay. Jonathan says it's much nicer having a friend like me than a balloon, even if it was a dinosaur. Love from Paddington. That's all for today. Thank you for listening.